Aaron Spelling and I ran into each other, and he asked me to look at a new pilot that he had made. And the new pilot was this thing that would become Charlie's Angels. And he asked me if I'd be interested in returning to television. Well, little did he know how interested I was. I mean, I was desperate for a job. Oh, I know how it was. I heard from him through, his business manager knew of me and recommended me as someone who might be a candidate. So I was up for the job. Shortly thereafter, the pilot became a television series, was ordered to series, and I did not get the job. Rick Husky got the job. Rick Husky was a young writer who had worked for Spelling Goldberg on the Mod Squad and on Starsky and Hutch, I believe. And he had his first job as a writer for me on Daniel Boone. So Rick called me and said, "Gee, I hear I beat you out of a job. I'm sick about it." And I said, "Oh, don't be silly. You know, they know you better than they know me. I'm sure you'll do great." He says, "Well, look, I'll tell you the truth." He says, "I am exhausted. I'm only here just to make these guys comfortable. I'm just going to be here for a few shows. I'm going to get them started, and then there'll be a new opening. So stay on top of this. If you want this job, tell your agent, stay on it." So I did. I kept bugging my agent about it, and they didn't hire me again. They hired David Levinson from Sons and Daughters, who lasted about a week and a half. And then I got brought in for an interview. And the interview consisted of my going initially to see 2 or 3 episodes, rough cuts in a room.
Your impressions?
And I came out to give my impressions to Aaron Spelling, who was alone in his fabulous office suite, complete with high beam ceilings, and fireplace, and it was quite lush. And as I walked into his office, ushered into his office, he was on the phone to, I discovered later, the guy who was the president of the ABC network, Frederick Pierce, or Pearson, I think. And he said, "Yes, Fred." I only heard one side of the conversation. "Yes, Fred, I know. We're embarrassed by it too. Freddie Silverman is concerned. I know, we are also. But Barney Rosenzweig is here now, and he's going to turn that around." I'm standing there. I don't even know I got the job. So that was my first introduction that I'm going to get hired. So hangs up the phone. He moves to his table where he's having lunch, served to him by a manservant with gloves. I'm not invited to lunch. I'm standing there while he's eating. And he wants to know my impression of the movies I'd just seen. And I told him what I thought was wrong with them. I told him that I thought the show was going to be a hit, that the cast was outstanding, that there were a lot of things going for it, but I began to give him my criticism of the show based on what I knew about the genre of the private eye melodrama and based on my new understanding of the women's movement. And that they were making a show about women that women would like to see, and they were risking offending the very people who they were making the show for. And I was very good in the meeting. I was on my game. And I explained all the reasons and how to change the show. They were modest changes, but they were important. The women no longer were being told what to do by Charlie. They were telling Charlie what they were going to do, and Charlie would endorse their plan. Essential difference.
So it empowered the women, right?
Empowered them. I said, as you have them now, they're like hookers. They just do what they're told. Now give them power. Give them the position of being smart. Let them be the people who say, "Charlie, we met the client," and then let them meet the client. We're all making the show in a vacuum. The 4 episodes I'd seen were embarrassing. They were embarrassing to Fred Pierce of ABC. They were embarrassing to Freddie Silverman of ABC. They were embarrassing to Aaron Spelling, at least he said they were. And so they wanted it fixed, and that's why they brought me in. The show had yet to go on the air. Now I'm starting to make the show. On the first day of my brief tenure as a producer on that show, first day of production of one of my episodes, we go on the air with my predecessor's work. Work that I had offered to, for free, re-edit No, don't waste your time. They didn't want to bother with it. And I was scared because we're never going to recover from this. This stuff's going to go out there. It's so awful. We'll never recover. We'll lose it all. Well, the show was a monster hit. Monster. I forget what it was. Made 45, 50 share of audience. Cool. Well, it won't continue. It was even better the week. The show became a phenomenon. It had nothing to do with me. My predecessors, really, the concept, the women, the jiggle aspects, the no brassiere look on Farrah Fawcett, that was all done by Aaron Spelling and Leonard Goldberg, and by the guys they hired. And now, all the memos I've been getting from Leonard Goldberg about how terrific these scripts were, and how smart they were, and how great we were doing, suddenly he starts saying things like, let's not make this show too good. We're onto something here. And I said, look, these shows are a hit not because they're bad. They're a hit in spite of the fact that they're bad. But I was getting less and less listened to, more and more phased out. And finally, they'd say, when Farrah or Jackie or even Kate would say to Leonard, we really like Barney, we're doing so great. He'd say, look, we don't need anybody to tell us how to make our show a hit. We're already a hit. So there was a lot of that going. The refusal now to let go, the wanting the proprietary, which I understand. I mean, hits are hard to come by. This was a major. You don't need a guy like me coming along telling you how to become a success. It turns out, I thought they did, but it was true they didn't. Now.